You know that anytime the hand is bent in the courtroom, it says that this person will try to lie to us. So you need to check with your neighbors right now. In the fourth one, I had 2 fingers together and 2 fingers apart. But think about what I initially said, because anytime fingers are apart, that's a readily type of honesty. And then when fingers are tight together, it's an analytical honesty. So this person would give us both types of responses. And then lastly, I bent my hand backwards this way. When someone bends the hand backwards in the courtroom, it says that they will try to bend over backwards to get us to believe them, but will be typically telling us a lie. The best thing about learning everything that I teach you today is this. You can use everything that I teach you in your own personal life immediately. So this evening, when you return home and you see your spouse, you can always say, now honey, what have you been doing since I have been gone? And as your spouse responds, say, can you finish telling me that, and put your right hand up. And look to see if it's like this or is it this way. I have been doing this a number of years, almost 17 years. I taught this in college. Now I predominantly travel the country, helping people to better understand what kind of messages they send out in all of their conversations, but also what kind of underlying messages they could gather by simply watching someone else's body language. Whenever I do this, I have to tell you, I did all of Bill Clinton's body language during his testimony, and Bill did start this way, and I said, this is not going to be a very good day for old Bill. I live in Houston, Texas. I did George Bush. I call him Papa Bush. Baby Bush did all of their body language. And I know that last year, during the political debates, October, November, certainly you had to watch some of those debates. And as you watched them, perhaps you said to yourself, I hear what they are saying, but what is their body really saying? That's exactly what my job is. It's to take every time the person moves a hand, an arm, an eye, or a shoulder. And you know what I think you might find interesting about learning this is this. A body does not know how to tell a lie. It is a mouth that tells a lie. You will find out when we're together, people move their hands a certain way when they're really uncomfortable with what it is that they're telling you and probably not telling you the whole truth. And then people move their hands another way when they're being perfectly honest with you. So to get you into the topic that you're comfortable with, then, let me just I'll give you 5 or 6 gestures that are common. I've seen this since the meeting started. And as I give you the gesture, just tell me if you think it is true or if you think it is false, and I'll do this for number 1. Let's pretend that you're in a conversation with a man, and this man is listening to you. And as the guy listens, he just starts doing this. He just slowly rubs the bottom of the chin this way. For question number 1, I said you want to say, when a man does this and he is listening to you, this is a gesture that says that he is seriously contemplating what is being said. Do you think that that would be true? Do you think that that would be false? What do you think? False. So we have some true, we have some false. We're not giving the answers just yet. You have 5 questions on this exam. Let me try this for number 2. 2 is really easy. So all of you will get number 2 correct. It goes this way. Men who constantly jingle the change in their pockets. When a guy will constantly jingle the change in his pockets, it is a gesture that says that he is quite concerned about his financial situation. Do you think that that's true? Do you think that that's false? What do you think? False. I will keep that one in. Let's try this for number 3. And 3 is a bit frightening, but I want to see how you think and feel about it. It goes this way. People who tend to use their left hand a lot tend to lie a lot. Do you think that that's true? Do you think that's false? What do you think? False. Probably most people who said false, though, are left-handed. Am I correct? Where are my nice left-handed people? Where are those light left-handers? Look at them. They're all looking at their left-hand. They look mighty honest to me. So let me repeat number 3. I did not say people who are left-handed. Simply asked and said people who tend to use the left hand a lot tend to lie a lot. I'm going to keep that one in because I think it's a valuable resource for you. I will try this for number 4, and it's just meant to be fun. 4 goes this way. If you're watching a man and a woman in a casual conversation, And while this guy and girl are speaking, the man begins to pull up his socks. For question number 4, I just want to ask this. If a man begins to pull up his socks during a casual conversation with a lady, it usually indicates that he would like to ask the lady out on a date. Do you think that that is true? Do you think that that is false? What do you think?
True.
So we have some true, some false. Let me try this with number 5. And here comes your last one, and I will make certain that I answer all of these for you as we go along, but I think once you see number 5, the concept of people reading will begin to make more sense to you. So watch how number 5 goes. Let's say you're talking with someone, and I just want you to zero in on my hands for a bit. Because I know when you're talking, look what happens. Sometimes you're speaking, and I bet your hands are going away from your body. I know that sometimes when you're speaking, your hands come back towards your body. Probably some of us have even said, if I could not use my hands, I could not even speak. I want to clarify that before I even ask question number 5. It is perfectly okay to use your hands when you're talking, because watch what happens psychologically. Whenever you move your right hand, or for that matter, really anything that you move on the right side of your body, your hand, your arm, your eye, your leg, your shoulder, any motion on the right side of your body, of course, that is all controlled from the left side of our head. Our left brain, that's the analytical side, that is the factual side, that is the numerical side. Our timetables are located here. If you're multiplying something inside your head and have trouble getting the numbers multiplied, you would end up moving your right hand. It would help clarify what you're thinking, and then finally you could speak those words. When you move your left hand or anything on this side of your body, that is all controlled from this side of our head. Our right brain, this is the fun side. This is the comical side. This is the side that daydreams. If ever you drove somewhere and you cannot recall how you got there, of course you drove right brain. But I want to help you understand why your hands move so that you understand body language better. Look, your hands move to help you get information that is stored inside this huge thing called a brain or called a computer outside your mouth. If you had to speak to someone for 30 minutes and were not allowed to use your hands, let's say you're to talk and your hands had to stay here the whole time, it would be rather difficult to organize your thoughts and get them out in a logical fashion. The motion of your hands, that's what pulls things from various sides of your head so that hopefully when we speak with people, it logically makes sense. So watch how number 5 would go. Let's say you're talking, and wow, you begin to notice your hands go out, your hands come back towards you, and every now and then during your conversation, you would spot yourself doing this. You would notice that you bring the tips of your fingers together at about chest level. Maybe one hand comes out, and then you notice they come back together again. This is my question for number 5. When someone does this, this is a gesture that says that this person lacks confidence. Do you think that that would be true? Do you think that that would be false? In other words, when someone does this, and you tell me gut-wise, would they look confident to you? Would they look nervous to you? What do you think? I will answer number 5, and I'll come back and catch 1, 2, 3, and 4 for you. In fact, I'll let this be the very first gesture I teach you today. This gesture in body language, it is called exactly what it looks like. Look, it's called a steeple. And do you know that steepling is the largest gesture of confidence that I can ever teach a group of people? Anytime you see a steeple, it is associated with the level of confidence in that person. And I do not have to see a steeple gesture with all the fingers together. I could watch someone just put the pointer fingers together and drop the hand, but there is still a visible steeple. I could watch someone put the thumbs together and drop the hand. There is still a visible steeple. Some of you right now are seated just this way. Anytime there is a steeple, it is associated with the level of confidence in that person. And this is what our research in body language further tells us. When someone is confident with what they are saying, their steeple gesture is at chest level. When someone is confident with what they are hearing, their steeple gesture is typically down in lap level. Would it be advantageous to get those whole thing figured out the next time you had a conversation with someone? But this is a pretty good gesture to know let's say you have to do a talk in front of a group and you're kind of nervous and you don't want them to think you're nervous, just go like this. And you'll say, wow, what a confident person that is. I mean, do not stay like this the whole time. It looks like you're praying. So, you know, every now and then just bring your arms across. And I want you to notice it. Look, it's really soft. It's really soft. It's none of this. This is a terrible than this. Remember the old fig leaf gesture that someone would sit in to get an award? I would much prefer watching someone just come up there and maybe just do some kind of a steeple in their hands. I work with a lot of politicians. Never think that every national politician doesn't have a body language expert helping them. They all do. But you can always spot when someone is really insincere because their gesture will not appear in the appropriate time. They may say an entire sentence and then they'll think, oh, I better do the steeple gesture. So when the gesture does not come as part of their sentence, it's probably not a gesture that is theirs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to really tell you how to understand every gesture, because I'll teach you how to spot if someone's lying, if you would need that. I'll teach you how to spot confidence, nervousness, honesty, dishonesty, maybe assertiveness. I'll give you as much information as I can in the time that we're together. I speak rather quickly, but I want your little minds just to stay on task and we'll get this done. We do have a handout for you, so just kind of watch what I'm doing, absorb it, and then we'll go to the handout in just a bit. But I want to show you how to understand and read every gesture that I bring forth to you today. Look, when you see this, you will know that it stands for confidence. But it is difficult at first to figure out, is that person confident with what I am saying, or are they confident with what they are thinking? So I want to show you how to analyze every single gesture that I bring to you today. What is your name, sir? Brian. Okay, so this young man is named Brian. And so, Brian, just do a little steeple, because I want to show you how to analyze and read the gestures that I teach you. So I'm having a conversation with Brian, and I happen to notice that he steeples. So the exact way to understand every gesture is that you know that this stands for confidence, but to get the true meaning of a gesture, you have to try to quickly recall what types of gestures preceded the gesture that you're trying to analyze. And I don't want to make this difficult for you, so let me explain it to you this way. When we form a sentence is made up of several words together. Am I correct? Just let me see some body language. Oh yeah, Jane, you got that right. So look, when you see a gesture, it doesn't just come there. Evidently, some motions have to come before it and some motions come after it. So I'm noticing that this young man steeples, and I'm thinking, okay, what did he do prior to doing the steeple? And I recall that he gave me several positive gestures prior to steepling. Maybe the whole time I spoke with him, he gave me continuous eye contact. That is a given in body language, is it not? Maybe his body started to lean forward. That shows interest in body language. Then maybe he sat back and would have shown me a steeple gesture. In this series of gestures, it would let me know that he feels highly confident about what I'm saying and probably will go along with what I have just proposed. Now watch the exact opposite of that. I notice that he steepled, and now I'm thinking to myself, okay, what did he do prior to steepling the second time in our conversation? And I noticed that he gave me several negative gestures prior to doing the second steeple. Maybe as I talked with, is it Brian? Maybe as I talked with him, he kept glancing at his watch. I mean, that is pretty negative, is it not, in body language? Maybe as I continued talking, I noticed that his body tightened up and I could no longer see his hands. The most negative and the most defensive of all arm crossing is when hands and fingers are not showing. I'll show you the right way and wrong way to cross arms during a negotiation, but it's never okay to cross your arms and not show your hands. This is like you have a shield in front of you protecting you from receiving information. Going back to this young man, he has looked at his watch, he has severely crossed his arms, and then he happened to sit back and would have shown me a steeple gesture. In this series of gestures, it would let me know that he feels highly confident in telling me no and will not go along with what I have just proposed. So as I teach this across the world, I mean, this is what I tell people. It is almost as though you learn another language. You know, we speak English, we speak Spanish, we speak French, we speak German. Think of all the nationalities and languages we have in here. Why not understand and speak this thing called body language? And what I'm presenting for the first part of my presentation today is American body language, because I want you to have the upper hand when you are here in America and you're negotiating. I want you to get them figured out before they actually figure you out. And then we'll go into cultural body language, because every nationality does move their hands a certain way, and you know, some ways that we use our hands in the United States are quite offensive to other cultures, so it's good that